Welcome everybody to ICA TV from ICA HQ. God, it sounds very complicated. I Can Achieve is here to support you, female business owners, to get your voice out there, but also to share about your business. And this is where we are today, because this lovely lady, Jen, she has been requested to be interviewed. How can you not do it? From a few members of our group. So Jen, welcome, my darling, and thank you for saying yes.
Always a delight to be in your company, Teresa. Come on.
Thank you, my darling. We're best friends now, but we've been virtual friends for at least through this last year.
Oh, absolutely, and had some very interesting virtual chats and conversations. And
we have.
It builds a bond. Can't argue with that.
I think so, and I think the way that, you know, networking or virtual friendship or whatever we like to call it, you know, there has to be some sort of, I suppose the word collaboration, not as in business, but actually to hold people's conversation with each other. You know, some sounding boards are always good across the board. Yeah, cool. I'm going to let you introduce yourself in relation to your big mission, because that's a really big one.
It is a biggish one, isn't it? On the other hand, considering how many people there are in the world, it's really teeny. So I want to help 1 million people breathe better. And I know everybody in this audience is breathing. It's a definite starting point.
It's good, yeah.
Checking in, you are breathing, good. And it's not a hobby. You're planning to do it your whole life.
Yep, definitely.
Not just for the next 10 minutes and then you're going to just pack it away and go do something else.
Fall over.
Fall over, exactly. So, but whereas I was somebody who struggled to breathe for the first 35 years of my life, I had life-threatening asthma, massive allergy problems, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I went from, I think I'm going to die tonight, again, despite the meds and my lovely medical team, to off all of that and no symptoms in 4 weeks. And it's like, wow, it's possible.
Goodness.
And all I had to do, when it was find the right people to teach me, was how to breathe medically, mechanically, correctly. So instead of huffing and puffing and mouth breathing and thinking that when I lacked air, I should do more of that.
Yes, you do, don't you? You panic.
There's a feeling I need to do more, but actually that locks off the diaphragm and you get less air. So weirdly, learning how to slow it down, use the right muscles and chill out, my airways opened up, my heart rate slowed down, and my brain went, you don't have to panic all day.
Yeah, you're right. You're okay. Wow.
And that was news, because that was 35 years in, and I've got one of those histories. Besides the asthma, there was a lot of stuff in the background. You don't need the details. But
maybe on another interview when we get
another interview, we can go into that. Yeah. I'm open to sharing it. It's just, limits. And so to start with, I just enjoyed being able to do that, basically breathing, which is back in Australia, by the way, people. And
really? I didn't think that was a English accent, really.
I grew up in Australia. My mum was English, but she went out when she was 15. And I got teased at school because I was apparently had a posh accent for an Aussie girl. So that's how it goes.
Can't win, can we?
No. But it was okay. But when I learned to breathe correctly, up until that point, I had a family, was trying to raise a daughter, and was a piano teacher for 20 odd years. And then I learned to breathe correctly, married a second husband, and moved to England.
Okay.
So there was a bit of a juggly thing going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I turned up over here, I'm sitting here, I'm actually looking at my piano across here, and I'm just going, I am never, ever teaching piano, ever, ever, ever again. If I hear Mary Had a Little Lamb played ever again, there will be no piano left. The child will be pushed aside, so I think I'll take an axe to the piano. But I was really, really blessed to be in a position where, although I was still had a lot of issues, was in a position to train in everything that had worked for me. So I became a therapist in the Buteyko breathing, as it was formerly known. It's a Russian technique, stuck with the name, I'm afraid. And I'm also an NLP trainer, a hypnotherapist, a Reiki teacher, like just anything that worked for me. I just wanted to know all about it. And it was purely for my own benefit initially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I discovered there's a world full of people who had the same problems. I didn't really know that. I knew I was unusually ill and had become unusually well suddenly.
If by magic.
Very much so. Yeah, we did talk about the magic wand.
We do a little bit of magic.
We do. Mm.
We like magic.
It works. Come on. People think magic is something other than science, but it's just science without labels.
When
you pull it apart, the science is still underneath the magic. Works.
Like magic.
And and then I started. There was an overlap here because I taught for a long time. And I discovered I absolutely adored teaching. It wasn't about the piano, but I adored teaching. And then I started to teach other people. And that really ended up as a therapist and, qualified as a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And then training therapists and training medical staff and just going to colleges and doing training there or working with as care for the carers programs. And I just love sharing stuff. I just do. And I've been so much healthier and happier and more functional. Not perfect, long way from perfect, but I haven't needed a puff of reliever spray in over 20 years. That's pretty good going for an labeled asthmatic. I haven't needed, antidepressants for the same length of time.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't needed a lot of other care that I used to need for a very, very long time. And I just love rolling it out and seeing other people's faces light up and watching them go from this to...
That's pretty cool, isn't it? To be able to share what you've experienced, because technical word, damn well it works.
Yeah.
Because you've been there and you've had the best and the worst of it.
Yeah, exactly. And over the years, I've just brought things together. And as we all do, we have our own unique version of things. So I've adapted because there were some gaps in the system. So I like to bridge those gaps and make it easier and quicker for people to change. And sometimes it's just about tweaking something really, really small.
Yeah.
And
it's giving hope to people.
Yeah.
I think if people are, again, we were talking a bit about asking the universe or a bit of magic or whatever it is. But if we don't ask, it's that old saying. I don't know if I like it particularly, but it is an old saying. If we don't ask, we don't get. But I do believe if we don't actually put it out to the world, what we want, whether it's better health or a promising business or a business that's earning us money, if we're not putting it out there, we don't actually know when it's handed to us or it passes us.
Yeah, we can really miss opportunities if we haven't got a focus. I mean, they all say we need a business plan. We need a life plan to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Where coaches of various kinds come in massively valuable.
Yeah.
And just knowing that my life will be better when I do this. And then the crucial question is, how do I find that? And, and then you start asking questions and people start to go, oh, I do that, or I'm interested in that, or we can do it together. And so I love a joint venture, mate.
Nice that. Yeah, I like a joint venture.
It's a good way to work. And the thing is, you're not on your own. If you don't ever put it out there and ask, you are just doing it in the quiet of your mind, back into your house or your office, hoping,
wishing.
Yeah, which is not quite the same thing. It's not about, well, I'm just going to say something and it's going to show up. But if you say something and move in the direction of, then the energy lines just start to come together.
Absolutely. And I would hope that people out there have noticed that when they're running their businesses, that they've, if you close the doors, if you go, I'm going to put my head down and I'm just going to do it, and I'm just going to do it, and I'm just going to do it on my own, the opportunities don't come arise because you're not talking to anyone, you're not sharing what you do. But as soon as you actually open the doors, open the windows, open this machine thing, because that's more that we're using at this moment in time, and go, actually, we're so lucky that we've got this social media.
It's brilliant.
You know, to be able to talk, contact, communicate.
And help people. Because I don't think anybody in this group started out without that as a core value. You know, yes, make money, it's a business.
Yeah.
And do it by helping people transform in some way or support them so they can do what they love to do. That works brilliantly. For the last 6 years, I've been using Zoom to work all over the world with people. So I was very grateful that Zoom is not scary for me. And when we transformed into having to do it with everybody, including somebody who might be next door.
Bizarrely, yes, yes.
But it means I've been comfortable with that. And actually, I've never earned more than I have in the last year because I've been more available to people who are suddenly going, oh, I've got access to Zoom. Who can I now talk to in the wider world that wasn't available before? Absolutely. And of course, because I'm, primarily these days a breathing therapist, although I have a huge toolkit to draw on, and the world is suddenly talking about lungs. Have you noticed that? They've mentioned lungs every day for the last year.
I wonder why.
Can't begin to imagine.
No, we don't do any C words here. Anyway, but you're right. Absolutely. So this tool, I think if you're watching, guys, and you haven't really got into Zoom, if you're still sitting on, I'm going to say garden fence. If you're sitting on the garden fence, it's a bit painful, jump either way, but actually jump into technology, even if you think it's, out of your reach or a bit scary. Do so, because it isn't as scary as you think once you get into the system. And shout if you need help to find how to log on to Zoom. Hopefully you're looking at YouTube, or you're on your phone, but do shout, because it is a fabulous opportunity to grow your business.
And opportunities are what we need to look at. The whole thing is, I can learn other technologies, but this is a simple starting point. And yes, I've actually just started to look for a regular VA to do things that I don't want to do. I don't have to want to do everything. I just have to know it's possible. And then you hand it over. And it's things like, when I wrote I was going to say my first book, but that was 25 years ago. God.
Don't count back, my word.
I know. But after a while, so I'm a photographer and an artist as well. So this is an affirmations book. It's got a quite unique structure on this. And then it turned out that Amazon, you could do print on demand. And that was rather exciting, because now I can also offer people this just on my website. They don't have to physically have the book.
How amazing is that?
Ebooks are incredible. So yeah, whatever it is that you've got knowledge on, there are ways to get it out there, whether it's a video, whether it's a book, whether it's a conversation. Just the world needs what you do.
Oh, totally. As I believe, and I think, we're on the same page here, that as an individual, you don't have to copy, you don't have to be in a trend, you don't have to say, you don't even have to shout from the rooftops. You just continually be you.
And you do, helpfully, find that people will talk to you and listen to you and ask for you if you remind your clients to tell people how good you are.
Always. Oh, definitely.
A good testimonial is worth any amount of advertising for most industries.
I agree. People power, I suppose, is the word.
Yeah.
Not that I could say it very well. but it is our know, like, and trust, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
why shouldn't it be? But I don't want to work with somebody that I doubt.
No.
On the other hand, I have my reverse of that in some respects is I simply have a guarantee, feel better, all the next session's free. But it's not a big risk. And I do a free assessment because I don't expect people to think, well, better breathing, why should that be so exciting? Isn't that just a yoga class? Not that there's anything wrong with yoga, yoga's great, but people don't have any expectation of it working. And why should I blame them for that? You know, I can talk till the cows come home about breathing, but you're already breathing, so why?
How much will it make it better?
Exactly.
You know, is the question, isn't it?
It is. Whereas I have people who come in wheezing and go out not wheezing, or come in panicking and go out calm. That's on day one on the free session. I mean, just
yay. Maybe as a, you know, business people, you know, you're actually doing an amazing job and expecting, you know, that these clients, people coming through your door, are actually going to get exactly what they need, which is, you know, and ICA the same. We do definitely not take anything for granted.
No.
You know, and I've been in places where I'm going to say it, ripped off.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it because, you know, when you start a business or you're out there doing your passion, your dream, your tiny seedling of something, and there's always people there that are going to go, oh, you need this, oh, you need this, oh, you need this, like a website, like a perfect banner or a business card or whatever it is.
Oh, or the classic funnel thing. Now, they might be all useful at a certain point in the journey, but what you need first is a little confidence to get started.
Confidence, and I think confidence to talk to people.
Yeah, all massive benefit to.
Yes, cool.
There's just a joy, and the community that you've created is a big part of being able to talk to people, because you know they get you. They have their own unique journey, but they recognize you're on your own version of that journey.
Oh, most definitely.
And that is so comforting to have that connection point. It really makes
a thank you, sweetheart. It is, you know, this ICA, this interview system, the fact that we did Cozy Chat Corners, the things that we, you know, programs that we run, the action clubs we run, it didn't happen overnight. It's not like, right, yesterday morning when I woke up, I went, you know what, I'm going to put all this together today, and by tea time
it was already up and running, and there were 1,000 people in the group.
Absolutely. Finished, done it, went to bed with a glass of sherry, did that.
And didn't have to do anything once you got up either, because it was just all working magically.
Magic again. You know, had my breakfast, wandered around the garden, everything happened. God forbid. You know, it doesn't happen like that, ladies, you know, out there. We do put energy in it. We put a lot of time and effort into this. We have a huge passion for what we do, because if we didn't have that, when we get up in the morning, we go, what are we doing today then? Don't go. So yeah, and as a business owner, you know, Jen, I know you've been in business over 14 years. Don't say it too loud. Is the fact that that everything that you're doing is in relation to a passion of yours. Get me on another subject.
Oh boy.
Okay. Big cats.
Big cats. Okay.
Big cats.
All right. So yes, I've been doing voluntary work for 40 odd years, but it most used to just be social stuff, bit of community, Meals on Wheels, help out at the local hospital, stuff like that, which was all relevant. But I don't know if I can, if I stop the video, whether people will be able to see. I don't know.
Oh, you see a picture?
Lovely. So that glorious creature, her name is Athena, and she's a jaguar, and she's leaning up to me for some Reiki. Anybody who thinks Reiki is a nonsense, I say you try relaxing a jaguar without it. But I've been volunteering out at the place on and off, doing fundraisers for, 15 years. But that glorious creature, I go there on a Saturday morning to do member tours, because we're not open to the public. It's a sanctuary, private sanctuary, and we just bonded over time. So she knows who I am, and she leans up for a snuggle when I come, and as long as she's had her food,
dinner,
and it's not going to be my hand, she will let me stroke her. She'll let me touch her tummy. I'm the only person on the planet that can touch her tummy, apparently. And it's just magic. It's absolute magic for me. Equally, if I miss a Saturday, she gets mad at me if I don't turn up. And the next week she does. She'll come running over when she hears my voice and then yell at me and go back and sulk in her den because
she gets strippy.
she'll get stroppy. She knows I missed a week. She's really funny that way.
Wow. And do you actually go in with them?
Not with her. I do with the youngsters. So we had a snow leopard cub I used to be able to take for walks, and a lynx who I still can play with. I'm not one of the constant carers for them, but I've just spent a lot of time over the years. But the place itself is supporting and saving individual lives and breeding rare cats. But we also have a 10,000-acre rainforest reserve in Argentina, with a place where people can do research. As long as it's eco-related, they can come and stay in the dormitories and do their PhD stuff in the forest, which is just...
That's been amazing.
It's phenomenal. You think that sounds good? We now have, we don't own it, but our boss created the business plan that allowed the government in that space to create a 4 million acre rainforest reserve, because he worked out how to help the farmers not get kicked off their land while the forest grew up around them. 4 million acres of forest is now growing.
4 million acres.
It can be done, people. It can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that goes back to that passion, that want, that communication, that, and being in our own little boxes. I'm in my own little box here.
Yeah.
If anybody knows where I am, I'm actually in my own little box on my landing, because we all work from home.
We do.
Yeah, and you go, if we step out and look further, not only does our life get fulfilled more, because we're doing the things that we want to do, but also we're able to give and share more, which is cool, which is really cool. Tell the lovely watchers out there about your you did a little talk, and then 20 minutes later you were...
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. Do share.
Okay. So I was doing a networking event, and I was, for the first time, mentioned my big goal of helping 1 million people breathe better. Now, I thought that was a very long-term project, right? 20 minutes later, a friend of mine that I had helped to, he was a bit nervy getting on stage, and I helped him out. No names here, obviously. And he came into the meeting. He hadn't heard me say this, that I want to help 1 million people breathe better. He just came in a bit later. And he said, oh, you guys know I've got a Roku television channel. I want to put this meeting up in front of my audience. So everybody got to do their 40-second "this is me" thing, which was lovely, including me. And then he and the guy running the event said, we need some more content. Who could do that? And they looked at each other across the screen, which was quite weird, actually. You could see them making eye contact on a Zoom call. And they both said, oh, it'll be Jen then. They both trusted me implicitly to be able to just show up with zero warning, to be
on the spot,
and just give some work on breathing exercises and how to relax and how to make a difference. So it was still in the group, as it were. The whole event was live, going out, but I was the speaker, big on the screen, apparently. And so I just did, 12, 15 minutes of all of this stuff, my favorite thing to do. And I was watching this guy not watching the screen, and I was feeling a little bit miffed briefly. And then I realized he was looking at his computer and checking things, and I messaged him. What's happening? 1.2 million people were watching, apparently. Whether they were taking any notice, I have zero idea. But I did offer better breathing as a practical tool, not just lecturing about it, but helping them do it if they wanted to. And it was 20 minutes before this guy showed up that I'd said it.
You'd actually said it.
So within an hour, I had achieved my goal back in October.
How bloody awesome.
So that's rather thrilling. And it does make me feel quite confident about anything else I truly want to do. On the other hand, I've had quite a few events like that. But that was a particularly lovely one.
That's sort of
so precise.
Certainly stand out from the crowd there, isn't it?
It really is. I was actually training at a college which was just about to become officially a university. I was doing stress management with a bit of breath work in there. We're talking it would have been 20 years ago, the early days in England, and they offered me a scholarship to do a master's degree at the university when they were training over. What you guys don't know is I left school at 15. I had done nothing. I mean, I'd done lots of training per se, but I'd never done anything formal
education thing. Yeah.
In terms of, didn't have a bachelor's degree. I didn't even finish high school. None of that. And they wanted, and I said, "You do realise that's it?" And they said, "We've seen you train. You deserve to be straight through. You don't have to do 7 years of something else in between and then go. If you wanted." I didn't take it up because what they wanted to offer me was a business degree. If they'd have said it was a psychology degree, I'd have taken it up with bells on. But the joy and the satisfaction of being valued like that was so beautiful. I'm just so glad.
Boost your, not just confidence, your being, I would have thought. You know, well, I understand the whole education thing, you know, if anybody's watched me before, but I'm dyslexic. So, and my schooling in the 70s and 80s at that time wasn't particularly pleasant. You know, we were people who weren't doing what one should do in the right circumstances were sort of shipped off to the, I'm going to say the word which really cringes me, is the remedial classes. Remedial, which to us means you're stupid and you can't do anything. In our heads, rightly or wrongly, because that's what we were being told.
That was the perception.
Total perception. And if you're out there, darlings, if you've got anything that people have labelled you with because it's as a system, you know, technical, am I allowed to say a real technical word? It starts with B and ends in Olix. Is that all right?
I think we all get that word.
We get that one without me saying it? Absolutely to them, you know, because everybody has the ability to do whatever you want out there.
There is always a way to create something powerful and important, and it's okay to come at it from different angles.
Absolutely.
And because we do that, you know, then I think that is what we bring to the people who need us most, because that's the gift we bring. Our journey is the gift that we bring to the people.
So it's our story, isn't it?
Our story. So the fact that I was life-threateningly ill with asthma, I was considered a gifted student. What I also got was an expectation I was going to be a concert pianist because I've played since I was 4, and the pressure. And then I was so sick, I missed out months and months and months of school. And everything just, no.
It implodes.
That is just not what I'm ever going to be. And by the way, they never asked me, did I like to perform on the piano? I love to play. I love to teach. Don't be performing.
Don't want to do that bit.
No. I quite like playing for music societies and stuff because I'm in the orchestra pit. I'm not public. And that's a different thing. It's fascinating, isn't it? The way we perceive ourselves.
Definitely.
Compared to how other people perceive ourselves.
Oh, definitely. We have to build ourselves up to the right place, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And acknowledge the value that we bring.
Oh, wow, yeah. If you had if you could give to people out there with all your experience that you've been in business for years, we won't sort of specifically, you know, count the math, you know.
Over 40, let's leave it at that.
Over 40. And what if somebody's either starting their business or having a challenge with their business, you're not getting where they want, what sort of, you know, tidbit, a bit of advice could you give them?
Ask the question, what do you absolutely love doing? And who do you love helping? And that's not just the ideal client thing, it's literally the one that opens your heart. That when you might have 20 really good clients, but there'll be 1 or 2 that you just are so delighted to see. They bring you joy. You connect with them. Those people are the ones that tell you who you are, not just what you should do, but they tell you who you are. And honor that, honor the power that you bring and the joy and the value you bring to those people, and show up for them. It's not about advertising. It's just show up for them from your whole heart. Because it's easier.
I get that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons ICA is female based.
Yeah.
You know, because I absolutely love seeing female business owners achieve their dreams. And it sounds a bit weak, you know, but to have somebody come to you with a challenge and they can't get over it, and you can actually just tweak something with them and then they go off and fly. Oh my God.
I know, it's the most beautiful thing on the planet. When I have somebody who comes to me, they're wheezing and they're panicking and they're stressed out of their minds, and they then learn how to do something for themselves that just transforms their being, gives their brain back, gives their body some energy back. You don't have to be ill to want to feel better. You don't have to be broke to want to feel richer. Okay,
I agree.
It's where's the next step? And that's the other question. Just where is the next step forward?
Like,
not always the case. Sometimes they take the next step and they're just moving along sideways.
Done that a few times myself, you know, and you go, I'll just change a few things, but I'm just crabbing it.
Yeah.
Sideways. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the moving forward, and the thing is, when you move forward, you bring people with you.
Beautiful.
And that's,
you do it automatically, don't you?
It's inevitable, because you show up a little different. And okay, the core thing as a therapist and trainer of therapists is that it's true for every business owner, and mostly truly women everywhere, is that people match and mirror automatically. If you've got babies, you also will know this as well. You know, you do this, you stick your tongue out at a small baby, they stick it out back, right? And this works for pets and stuff if you've got, you know, a different journey. But if you recognize that people match and mirror the strongest state in the room. So if someone's angry, people will either be fearful or be more angry. But if someone's deeply relaxed, everybody else around them is more likely to settle. However, that normally happens with people who just are doing what they do. They're just going about their day and they're not thinking about how they show up. If you choose how you show up, what state you're in, whether that's enthusiasm, whether that's peaceful, whether that's excited or curious. Curious is a good place too.
Curious.
Very curious. You will, if you do that consciously, that will outrun anything anybody else does accidentally.
That's a big lesson.
That's a massive powerhouse.
Mm.
Show up consciously in a state you want to be. And if you need a bit of practice with that, there are people in this group who can help. However, when you just anchor a great state and you go, I'm doing that next time, I feel great, and know what it is, know what that feeling is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just jotting that down. I am taking note. I've actually wrote that down. Make sure that people can relay that. Yeah.
You know, and body language and the subtle tones on your face and the muscle movements. People unconsciously align with that, and it will be the most powerful thing because you choose it. Most people in this world blame the rest of the world because they're influenced by it. Let's give them something worth being influenced by.
That's an awesome way to leave that, my darling. Absolutely. I think that's heart out to you, my sweet. Thank you so much. People out there, you know, if you've got any questions for Jenny, just shout, you know, because we will blimmin' well answer. Absolutely. We're not saying it because we fancy the sound of our own voice. But that's okay. Quite like the sound of my voice. However, we will get back to you. So if you've got any questions about what Jen's been speaking about today, whether it's volunteering or actually hitting her goal again at the same time, all at the same time, or actually you're having a challenge with your breath and you need to recenter and get some support, or actually want to get on this ICA TV thing,
I would highly recommend it.
Just give us a shout. Thank you very much. We're not scary. We're just having a chilly chit chat, really. And at the end of it, Jen and I will have a coffee. if the coffee person turns up like magic again, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. But everybody out there, guys, you know, I hope you've enjoyed Jen's talk today. I have thoroughly. It's really lovely to get the time to touch base and to share. And I will be popping some links up in the interview. So if you wish to contact Jen any other way, you can do so. But thank you, Jen, so much. Bye to everybody who's watching. Please share this video, this interview, if anybody's there, you know, think it will be a benefit to. Grab that little tick thing called subscribe to ICA TV and ding that bell so you know when we come up live again. So please do that. And it's been an honor, Jen, absolute honor. And we will catch up personally, I know, again. And I will say goodbye to ICA TV now. Bye, everyone. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.